exactly how I did it. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit of the story, and then hopefully break down the process enough of how I took an idea, turned it into a product, got it on Shark Tank, HSN, Forbes, and all these different platforms so that you can walk out of here with steps to do the same. In 2009, I was 20, I think. I went through a really bad divorce. I had really terrible self-esteem. I lost all of my confidence. I went from being like a really strong athlete in high school to not knowing who I was and just trying to figure out my path in life. So the only thing that, and I know a lot of people I've talked to can kind of relate to this a lot, and the only thing that I found to kind of get back to myself was I felt strong every time I went to the gym. Working out, doing something to boost my confidence, like I just started feeling a little bit better, like I was getting back to my core. And one of the things that started with that is finding this new process of transformation, this new confidence. I wanted to help other people do the same. So I became a NASM personal trainer. Thought this was my life calling and passion. I'm going to teach other people how you can get strong and confident through weight training and controlling your mind. And it was awesome. It was great. Personal training took off. I got my first job. I think I was making 20 bucks an hour, and at that time I thought it was like the most money anybody could ever make. And I started training a lot of people, seeing a lot of the same thing of just like they're feeling low, they're feeling terrible about life, they're going through a hard time, whatever it might be. And about 3 years in, I learned about fitness modeling and photo shoots and dieting and being in figure competitions, and I got caught up a lot in just that whole cycle. And I went from having really strong confidence in myself and knowing who I was and feeling like I was back on track to crap. Now I'm back in the same cycle of I don't love my body unless I look this body fat percentage. And I now don't know how to have normal foods without feeling like I have to count every calorie and every macro. So then I went back down that cycle and like, well, now in order to have the body I want, I have to deprive myself and I have to starve myself and I have to train like crazy. And I did my first photo shoot. Pictures were great, except for I walked away from there just feeling like, man, this sucks. Like, this is what I have to do in order to really like have that. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be part of the industry. So I got a call one day. Somebody said, hey, I saw your photo shoot. I would love to shoot you as well, put you in my portfolio. I thought about it. I really just like took some time to decide if I wanted to be in the industry anymore. And I told myself that if I was going to do this, I was going to find a way to do it that didn't make me feel bad about who I was. So I am a foodie. I'm also a sommelier. I love food and wine. So I used to bake all the time when I was a kid, and I got really tired of protein shakes and egg whites and chicken breast and the food where you would rather just not eat than actually consume it during meal prep. And so I kind of used a little bit of that with my knowledge of nutrition and created a protein pancake recipe for myself. I ate this every day. And I did my photo shoot, and the pictures turned out just as good as the first time. So people started asking me, well, how did you meal prep? What did you do? You said you weren't dieting anymore. Told one person after the other. It started to catch on. I was making little Ziploc bags of this recipe from my house and just giving it to people for free. I was like, oh, here, I eat pancakes every day. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, who else eats protein pancakes? And then it came time where somebody on Facebook reached out to me and they're like, hey, I was at my friend's house, they gave me your protein pancakes, where can I buy this? And it was kind of that moment of like, what? Somebody wants to buy my product? I don't, 30 bucks, it's yours. Like no idea of cost of goods, manufacturing, anything like that. And that was kind of like the first aha moment I had. And I really just decided in that moment on like, all right, I really have a passion for health and fitness. I don't want to teach people to depend on me. I'm like, you can't be fit. You can't have the body you want unless you're counting every macro and you have a personal trainer and meal plans and meal prep and all of that. I want to empower people to create a life and a body and a business they love. So I named my entire business Abs. It worked out really well in the fitness industry because I got my abs eating pancakes. People assume like, oh, I'll just eat this and I'll be fine. Yes, but Abs is an acronym that stands for Authentic Beauty and Strength, because I believe the whole reason we're all here is because we're really just trying to find our own path. We're trying to find our own purpose. We're trying to be confident in our bodies. We want to build businesses that are successful. We want to empower other people to do the same. So that is the story behind that part. So in 2014, I don't know if this next slide is this, the pictures on the left, that is my very first product. I was buying tubs of protein, ripping the label writing people's name and flavor in Sharpie. That was my quality product, yeah. And then on the bottom left, that's my at-home assembly line with sheets of paper letting me know this is cinnamon roll, this is chocolate chip, this is vanilla cake batter. So super grassroots startup. My goal is to show you how I went from that to the pictures you see on the right to an actual product that's gotten a lot of media exposure and has been super successful without it being intimidating, because I've talked to you a lot of you at this event, and the thing that keeps coming up is, yeah, but there's just so much to get from that beginning phase to the last phase, and how do you even know how to find a manufacturer? How do you get fulfillment? And how do you produce products and have a team and systems? How did you know how to do this? I have no idea. I had no idea. All I knew is I felt in my gut super passionate and strong, like this is what I was meant to do. Started it, and as I started, the process kind of just unfolds yourself. So if you're in a place, whether you have a product line, you're thinking about creating a product line, you want to start something from scratch, and you're struggling a little bit with like, what if, you know? Like, what if it doesn't work? What if it fails? What if I don't make it to where I want to be? It's going to happen. You probably will fail. You'll probably have moments where you lose a ton of money and it doesn't end up working out. But this will hopefully help streamline the process a little bit to take away some of those failures so you stay on track to really having the business that you want. So, this is funny. So my brother actually made this slide for me yesterday because the picture on the left, that is a food saver bag from Target. I bought that because it was my first TV segment. They heard about the pancakes and wanted me to come on television and talk about it. I didn't have packaging, I didn't have manufacturing, so I went in my kitchen and mixed up the dry mix powder, went to Target, bought a food saver bag, sealed it, and went to Kinko's and printed that label and put it on there. I mean, yeah, that was it. And I mean, waking up and then like, oh my God, I think even on the segment it's so funny because I was so embarrassed. And the anchor, whoever was interviewing me, she's like, I love your packaging. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? But anyways, so just so you understand, like, there's no perfect process in it. Start from exactly where you are. If you are making things in your kitchen, you're making it in your backyard, whatever you're doing, at least you're starting. Because a lot of entrepreneurs I've coached are always asking, like, well, I don't want to put a product out there that looks like crap. It's better to put a product out there that looks like crap and get feedback than to not put anything out there at all. So don't be scared to have imperfect, really bad packaging go out there, or anything to be imperfect, because as you go, you learn how to improve, you get feedback, you learn to develop it a little bit better based on your customers, but also just going through the process. Okay, so this little step ladder kind of is the process of how it works. I'm going to break these down, but the whole idea is so you have a visual image or kind of a graphic to see the way it works with having a product idea, the process of then having formulation and specs, which again, I'll go through all of this just to make more sense. Building your business vision, which sounds like super common sense, and I'm also going to explain why that's really important. Crafting and owning your story as your marketing tool. Building an online presence, which I know you guys have heard a lot of here, but it's a little bit different. Co-packer manufacturing, drop shipping, are you selling your product or somebody else's product, things like that. Fulfillment, customer, to the bank. Now, building your business vision. This is something that I always start with. Anytime somebody comes to me, they're like, hey, I've thought about doing products, I have an idea, or you have a product and you start getting caught up in like, how do I develop this and how do I make it grow? I always ask, well, what is your vision for your business? Do you want all e-commerce? Do you want retail? Do you want wholesale? Do you want a license? Do you want to have this on the shelf of every major retailer, or is this something you just want to create a sustainable income so that you just have passive income coming in and you're not having to work really hard? So when you think about your business, and I mean, this is anything. If you're doing a book, if you're doing online coaching, if you're doing products, if you're selling other people's products, what is the main goal in that of how you see yourself? And focus on that. Otherwise, every time a shiny object shows within your life, you're going to get distracted and feel like, oh, well, I was going to do all e-commerce, but they're doing Whole Foods, and then they're doing affiliate marketing, and then somebody else is doing it. Just focus on that. So if you take the time, and everybody always skips over this because it's just like, no, I want to make products and I want to make money. If you focus on this, you're going to get to that part a lot faster than if you just start throwing a bunch of things out there and not knowing what your main focus is. So build out your business vision. If I were to give any piece of advice when it comes to the product space and how to do this, e-commerce 100%. E-commerce 100% because not only do you get control control over your business and your customer list. But I can't tell you how many people have focused on getting in major retailers, building out these huge accounts with wholesale, making millions of dollars, and then all it takes is one competitor to come in, knock you off the shelf, and now your business is bankrupt. If you're e-commerce based, not only are your profit margins higher, you're retaining a customer list. So as you come out with new products, you already have an entire list of who your customers are. On top of that, your customers buy your product because they know your brand. If you're selling massively and distributing widely, and it's all just in control of Costco's and who knows, your Dick's Sporting Goods and all these different places, your customer never knows your story face to face. Why are they going to buy your product over any other pancake mix that's out there? Well, because they connect with your story. They know who you are. They've known you for 4 or 5 years and have seen you grow. They know that you're creating a quality product. On top of that, they know the mission behind it, to empower other people to create a body and a life that they love without having to go through the same processes that a lot of people go through. So don't skip over that. It's kind of one of those processes that nobody wants to do, but it's super important. Another question I always get asked is, how do you separate yourself when everybody else is doing the exact same thing? There's 15 pancake mixes on the market that are technically competitors. There's 5 million personal trainers in the US. How do you set yourself apart? Why does one person on social media choose you over somebody else that says they can produce the exact same results? It's your story. Your story is how you attract customers and clients without having to go chasing after them. So for example, I am not the pancake mix for somebody who wants Sunday pancakes for their whole family and they don't care about weight loss and fitness or anything like that. I am your pancake mix if you are tired of drinking protein shakes, you want healthy food, and you want to stay all natural, but you don't have any other way to do that. So think about your story in that sense. And this is all part of like a whole course you can go through, and if you're interested, I can talk to you later about it. But it's broken down, and what I have people do is write your story out from just completely transparent, what have you been through in your life, what have you overcome, because where you are now is somebody else's goal. You've overcome things, you've done things, you've produced things, you've started things, because we always doubt ourselves and forget, like, your starting point is somebody else's goal. You have overcome divorce, anxiety, bulimia, anorexia, low self-esteem, being broke and bankrupt, and now having a successful business. You've overcome so much. Why would somebody want to work with you? Because they connect with your story. So I asked a few of you who I've talked to, why did you choose to come to Fitposium? Why are you sitting here in this event? Well, because there's something that resonated with you. So when it comes to marketing, so many people get so caught up in advertising, and I got to throw thousands of dollars in order to produce these ad campaigns on Instagram and sponsorships and influencers. It's like, no, be patient, write your story, and tell your story over and over, and eventually you'll have fans for life. I joke, my brother's over here, and I was joking because my audience hates branded content. We've tried, if you look at any of the pancake Instagram feeds, my Instagram feeds, anything on social media, if it is too branded and it's too pretty and it looks too photoshopped, it falls flat. Nobody engages with it because they've been following the brand for so long that they're like, what is that? Like, what is she doing? Like, dang it, we tried, delete that post. And then we'll put something super just like somebody in their kitchen cooking pancakes and like no editing, nothing like that. It's like, oh, you have 500 likes. And like, just stay in your lane, basically. Okay, building an online presence. I know you guys have heard a lot about this. I know a lot of you are already doing a lot of this. I want to try and explain this to you in a way that has been very successful by using a dating analogy. Have you guys heard a dating analogy about building an online presence and how to kind of break it down so that you're not just like, well, how much do I post, and when do I post, and what do I say in my post, and then what's my call to action? So this came up because I was having wine with my brother in Santa Barbara, and we're sitting at a bar, and he's asking me about social media, and I was talking to this bartender, and I was like, what's your dream in life? What do you want to be? And he's like, is this a joke? I'm like, no, really, I want to know. So I was talking about building an online presence from an authentic way, and I said, all right, so think of it this way. You're sitting at a bar, there's tons of people at this bar. You're single, you see a few people who are attractive, okay? Take that, you're online, there's tons of people online, there's a few things that kind of catch your interest. You find something that piques your interest and catches your attention. That is your picture on social media. Whatever that initial post is, that's your picture. Like, oh, this is interesting. What happens when you see somebody interesting at a bar? Usually they come over, sit down. Hey, saw you liked me, saw you were paying attention. Whatever you're saying, I don't know what people say when they hit them at the bars. But that's the same analogy in that sense of when somebody sees your social media post, your picture is that initial like attraction, like, this looks interesting. They're coming on over to your page. All right, let's see what this is all about. Okay, same thing. Then what happens at the bar? You strike up a conversation. Your text in your post, that's your conversation. That's your piece. That's your opportunity to sell yourself, possibly get a phone number to this person at the bar. Is it interesting? Is it valuable? Do they see any reason to continue the conversation? If you're posting a bunch of selfies and hashtags, nobody cares. You're not providing any value to their life. Then you go through that, all right, I can feel this, we got good chemistry, it's going really well. Then what do? You ask for the number. You close the deal. Your call to action. That is your call to action at the end of the post. So when you're telling your stories, you're making these social media posts of like, hey, you know what, you tired of drinking protein shakes? Yeah, me too. Tired of baked whites? Do you skip your meals because they're so terrible and bland and boring? Yeah, me too. This is interesting. Head on over to ABSPancakes.com. Check it out. See it in that way, because a lot of times when people are in online and offline business, so personal training, to going online and building an online personal training or product-based businesses, they forget there's still the human factor. You still have to carry on a conversation. Just carry on a conversation. Do what you would do in a dating relationship. You're not going to immediately meet somebody and then ask them to marry you or to seal the deal there. You're going to continue to provide value. You're going to prove, I know what I'm talking about. I'm an expert. I will continue to prove that to you. And then when I've established your trust, then I'll ask you for, hey, do you want to do my program? Do you want to buy my pancakes? Do you want to sign up for whatever it is? So with building that, don't get so caught up in thinking that every single person has to be a sale. Just like every single person you meet here, like take the time to get to know people, ask them their story. Take the time on Instagram, take it on Facebook. Like that's the most valuable thing of anything in business is follow through in life in general. That in its own will make you more successful than anybody else. Follow through on emails, follow through with your word, follow through on social media, follow through on your online presence. If I guarantee you something, make sure you follow through on the guarantee.
Ashley?
Yes.
Can I ask you a quick question? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So you had said, like, okay, so at the end of your post, like your call to action is like, hey, do you want to, for example, you're at a bar, hey, do you want to get together for a cup of coffee or something? Mm-hmm. So at the end of your post, do you recommend saying something like, hey, if you're interested in blah, 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 shoot me a DM, or do you just, do you repetitively do that, or?
I don't do it in every post because I can't remember the technical term of it, but there's something about
overkill.
Yeah, but it's something where like your audience is no longer connected to it because like it's almost like they're conditioned. So like technically like you're conditioning them with that. I don't put that at the end of every post. You create a social media content calendar where I would like Mondays, don't post, just FYI, social media, never ask for a sale or anything like that Monday to Wednesday. Nobody's gonna buy, nobody's gonna engage. Those are the lowest rates in social media for engagement because think about your work week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's the beginning of the week. You have so much work to do. You don't have time to play around with social media. And if you do, well then that's not a good thing. But so for the most part, I don't ever really do calls to actions or sales Monday to Wednesday. I slowly sprinkle it in kind of like Thursday, Friday. Saturday and Sunday are always the biggest sales days. Just because people have time. They're sitting on their couch watching TV, scrolling through social media. Also, time-wise, 9 a.m., and I'm thinking Eastern time, but I would imagine it's the same. 9 a.m. to about 8 to 9 p.m. is when you get the most engagement. Just in general, that's just statistics. I don't know why. Maybe because it's just people's schedules. But yeah, does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Does anybody else have any other questions about social media, building an online presence? No? Cool. Okay. Before going on to the next slide, when I started the ABS Protein Pancakes, 0 paid traffic for 2 years. Yeah, so for 2 years, I'm not going to promise you 6 figures in business in your first year, but through organic social media strategies, I hit my 6-figure mark in less than a year just by being consistent in my social media posts, providing valuable content, connecting with people, just engaging with people. So another thing, have people talked to you about researching your hashtags and what's trending? Yeah, that is definitely a valuable tool. Make sure you check it about once a month because it's always changing. Other thing, everybody here, if you haven't already made friends with everybody here, these are the people that are going to help build your business. If you're a valuable person, providing valuable content, building solid relationships, this is how you grow the business. So in my space, in food and consumer goods, I started out, I would send people samples of products after building a relationship with them, especially influencers. Influencers are huge. Never did any paid influencer posts. I literally just, hey, my name is Ashley, I'm starting this product line, this is what I do, this is my mission behind it, this is what I'm about. If I send you a product and you try it and you like it, would you mind just sharing it? Only if you like it though. That built my entire business the first year. So so many people are like spending so much money on Facebook ads and Instagram ads and like trying to grow so fast, and you're gonna do that except for that's not sustainable. You can't constantly throw all of your profit right back into advertising. That's just a waste of money because nobody's actually understanding who your brand is. You're growing something overnight, but nobody really knows who you're about or where you're even going with it. Okay, so this part, I was trying to decide on how I was going to talk about this because this gets really kind of messy depending on where you're at. Just by raising your hands, who here has a product? Okay, who has an idea they want to turn into a product? Okay, we'll talk about this then. It's kind of hard because this is a space where sometimes if you're already in the product development space and finding all these things is a little bit easier. So with co-packer and manufacturing, when you have your idea, for those of you who already have it, you already have manufacturing and fulfillment lined up, congratulations, it's the hardest part of the process. For those who don't, and maybe you have a co-packer but you don't have fulfillment lined up, that's going to be your next step. That's going to be super important because when you're starting out and you're doing everything like the pictures I showed you, and you're doing the shipping, and the packaging, and the mixing, and the labeling, and the tracking, and customer support, and everything like that, your business is never going to grow. You just built another job for yourself. So you get into it because you're like, I don't want to be a personal trainer and burn out and have more free time, and then you get in it and now you're just doing the same thing in a different space. So your co-packer and manufacturer are the most important parts of your business because they can make or break it. They're the ones that are producing your product. They're producing it based on your specs and your formula. And I don't think anybody I talked to in here has a food product. But pretty much a few things you want to know to make sure that they do is you want to make sure you have full turnkey operation. So what that means is on a lot of different levels is your co-packer manufacturer is responsible for supplying all of the raw materials. So whatever is in it, they're going to give you the protein powder, the coconut flour, the stevia from their suppliers in bulk because it's going to provide a huge price break as opposed to you doing it yourself. On top of that, you want to make sure they are fully able to package and seal your product according to the FDA or GMP. GMP is good manufacturing practices. Any manufacturer you work with needs to be GMP certified. Otherwise, you're going to run into problems when you start selling on higher volumes. Their minimums, you can always negotiate. So a lot of the things that happen is people build product-based businesses. They can't meet minimums. They don't have money. So a creative way that I have found in negotiating that is sometimes if you talk to your manufacturer, you ask them, hey, if I let you put your business on my product, and I say this was manufactured by Fitposium LLC or whatever as a marketing tool, will you give me a price break? Usually they will. You can ask them that. You also, super important, who's responsible for the cost of my product if I put it on a truck coming from you and the truck burns up or gets in an accident and my product is gone? Who covers that? They should be covering that, not you, because it's leaving their facility. So those are just things basically you want to ask them. Also, you want to make sure they can fully function for e-commerce, wholesale, retail, drop shipping, Amazon, because those are all different requirements they have to have. And things like HSN, Zulily, Ford, all these different companies that come out and they want to do things with your business. It is a 2-hour process that they send a spectator out to your manufacturer to inspect the entire facility, the packaging, they make sure that you're doing things in quarantine and they're being tested and that you have all the insurance and paperwork and claims. So you want to make sure that if they are doing that and you have the ambitions of wanting to do tons of business with all these different retailers, that they're approved to do that. They have the functionality to do that. Otherwise, you're going to end up in a lot of trouble and losing a ton of money. Co-packing and manufacturing. Does anybody have questions specifically about that? Yes?
How did you, I guess, narrow down the co-packer that you wanted to use? Ended up using one and ended up taking 6 months for us to get a final product that we did not like. And so we had to start all over again by looking for another co-packer. So how did you narrow things down other than trying to get a whole list of random people that you're like Googling?
Yeah.
And literally just calling every single one of them to see if they need the needs.
What is your product?
It's a supplement, a brain supplement.
Are you doing, was it US based or international? Yeah, typically I always have like my list of top 5 people and I usually do my research based on it, so I do Google a ton. I Google, but more importantly, I Google their minimums, because a lot of them will produce like 100,000 minimums. Yeah, and you don't want to work with a company like that, especially when you're starting out, because if you have any type of problems, you're just falling down the line. They're not going to help you. Googling a lot, but there's also brokers out there, manufacturing brokers. I always, if you go on LinkedIn and you just do like a post like, hey, I'm looking for a broker for a manufacturer, I'm looking for a supplement manufacturer, you'll get a lot of hits off of that. They do all the scouting for you. So they'll go through, you sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, they'll do all the scout, they make sure to do the research to make sure that it fits whatever your claims are and whatever legal requirements you need with the FDA, and then they'll narrow it down to about 3 to 5 based on the price point that you need. Your manufacturing, typically even in startup, it should never take longer than about 6 weeks. So if they're doing 6 months, like I would not use them.
Yeah, we dropped them.
Yeah, and then also in the contract, when you're working with a new manufacturer, you'll want to have some sort of negotiation that your first run, you don't have to pay up front. Because if you're paying up front with a manufacturer on your very first run of inventory with them, that's kind of like paying for something without any experience that they're going to follow through. So usually you can negotiate that of like, hey, I'll do 25% just to cover the cost, but I'm not giving you the rest until it's done on deadline, along with, I always, in mine, I have a clause that every day past deadline that they're late, I get 1% off my cost. Yeah, and they have to abide by that. I mean, those are just manufacturing practices if you put it in there. Yeah, does that help? Okay, sweet. I don't know how to turn this back on. Oh, wait. No, that's a laser pointer. Oh. Sweet, thank you. Okay, fulfillment. So for you guys who do have a product, if you are not using fulfillment to outsource it, you should be, because it should only cost you about $1 per unit to fulfill it. So think about like if you're selling 5 units in an hour, that's $5. That's $5, but that's now an hour of your time that you can go out and sell and market your product. Fulfillment also has its own requirements that you want to really pay attention to, that they can meet similar things like your co-packer manufacturer. Can they do Amazon FBA? Can they do wholesale? Because wholesale is done based on pallets, certain wraps, a lot of boxes. It's so crazy and stupid how picky certain people are. Like, no, I want an 8x10, not a 10x12, and I want it labeled here, not labeled here. But regardless, your fulfillment center should be able to handle that. Also, make sure they can do direct-to-consumer e-commerce based. So product-based businesses, best platform you can possibly use is Shopify. Shopify is one of the only ones that can handle big spikes of traffic like Shark Tank without crashing. Also, if you ever do TV segments, the TV producers require that your business be based on Shopify because they don't want to have any issues with their show of like, oh crap, your website just crashed and now we have to kind of like make up for it and fix the problem. So use Shopify. If you don't have, I think I was talking to you about this, if you don't have fulfillment set up, if you go in Shopify in the search, in the resources, and you Google fulfillment that connects with Shopify, dozens of things will come up. Dozens of things will come up. A lot of them are based all over the place. Word of advice, you want to live close to where your fulfillment center is because you want to be able to walk in. If you have like something come up of like, oh, in a week I gotta be at the Symposium and I gotta have 50 bags of pancakes, you don't want to pay shipping from somewhere else. And also if you ever have problems, there's a lot of authority that goes into being able to walk in your fulfillment center What's going on, guys? Why aren't you returning my calls? Yeah. But a lot of them though are gonna try and nickel and dime you. So basically you shouldn't be paying a ton of storage fees. They'll tell you that it's 80 cents an hour, or not 80 cents, 80 cents per bag for every bag they have to put back on the shelf, and it's $300 per pallet, and if we have to connect this and that, that's crap. If anybody tells you that, like, don't do that. There's a lot of fulfillment companies, it's just a pick and pack fee. Every time they pick a bag, so if somebody orders 3 bags of pancakes, it's $1, $1, $1. That's now $3 to my cost. That's it. They're not doing anything else. They're not managing customer support. That's what you want to focus on. Anybody that's close to the Florida or Southeast area, there's a really good one called the Fulfillment Lab. I've been with them for 4 years. They do a great job. They actually handle all returns, shipping, tracking. If you're on the West Coast, there's a really good one called Fuelex that does a great job as well. And they ship all over, and they can handle Amazon, e-commerce, wholesale, retail, all that. Yes?
How long did it take you, because I saw, you have the pictures up there on the left where you were packing orders yourself. So what was the time frame, and I guess at what point were you like, whoa, this is getting so big that I need to transition over, it's time to do that?
Yeah. So in 2014, I started the business in March, and I was doing everything just by myself. Every time an order came in, I bought it in bulk from some bulk supplier, was doing it myself, all the way until about August of that year, because Dana Lynn Bailey, do you know who she is? Dana Lynn Bailey randomly bought my pancakes, and I didn't know, and made a post about it one day, and like overnight, thousands of orders came in. That's how I knew. I was like, okay, I guess I should figure out this whole co-packer fulfillment thing. And I mean, I think life in general naturally does that for you, of like, all right, it's time to like push in this direction. It's time to take a leap. Yeah. Typically though, I feel like if you're doing anything more than, like 50 to 100 orders a week, you need to outsource that, because all that's doing is adding more time to your schedule, and you're not actually able to go out and sell and market and actually grow the business. Starting out, most people do like 5 to 10, which is fine. But the other thing you have to be careful of too is as you grow, if you're not outsourcing that, technically it's illegal and you're not following your FDA and compliance and all of those regulations and stuff. So yeah, so in the supplement and food space, just be careful. If it starts to grow and like your gut, your intuition is like, we should probably outsource this, then do it. But other than that, life will give you a little kick in the butt to tell you when. Any other questions about fulfillment and e-commerce or anything like that? No? Cool. All right, so hopefully when you go through all of that, the main goal is to help you build a business that you are not working in, so that you can come to Fitposium, so that you can travel, so that you can do whatever you want. You wake up in the morning and there is money being deposited into your bank. That's not the whole reason I started a product-based business, but that's one of the benefits of having a product-based business. And one of the biggest shifts for me is, I started as a personal trainer, and I had business coaches who were doing digital marketing and info products and online training, and it sounds like rainbows and unicorns and like a great time. Like, oh, this is great. I can do personal training from anywhere now, except for you're still working all the time, still training people all the time, and there's no way to really scale that. Because then once you create a product, they go through your 12-week program, they go through your 30-day fat loss program, whatever that is, then what? You gotta create something new. So the reason I was really attracted to doing something like this is because it's consumable goods. When people run out of it, and they're done eating it, what do? They reorder. And I actually I don't remember who it was, but I was talking to somebody about this. I was like, it's actually a good problem to have, because there's ups and downs in the business. It can be really great and it can be really stressful, but there's something about people being so angry with you because they don't have their pancakes that is kind of satisfying. I mean, they will like insult your entire life because it took too long for them to get your pancakes. You're like, oh my God, you want a product that bad? That's so great. Yeah. So, that's one of the reasons I got into it. There's a lot of ways you can have a product-based business like this without creating your own product. So, there's drop shipping businesses, and a lot of people here were asking, well, I thought about creating my own product because all of my clients, I send them to like, go buy this piece of equipment, go buy that. You can still have an online store and product-based business without having to take on all this inventory and stuff if that feels better for you. also on Shopify. If you go to Shopify, you set up a store, they have in their resource section, it says what kind of business model do you have? Your own products, do you hold inventory, or are you drop shipping? I mean, Zulily is built off of that, Amazon is built off of that, like all these companies, they're not Amazon's products, it's all these other people that are selling their products on there. So think about that too, on just the whole goal is you being able to have other sources of revenue and income without having to use more time. I mean, none of us want to work 12, 14 hours a day for the rest of our lives, so this is really to help get you thinking of like, well, one day if I'm 80 and I want to be a personal trainer anymore, like, what's your plan? What's your exit strategy? And that kind of goes back to your business model too at the very beginning when I talked about owning your story and building your business vision. You want to build something that is sellable, or maybe not sellable, but that gets to the point where it's so automated, I can stand on stage and talk to you and my business is still running like a well-oiled machine. You want to get to that place because otherwise you just keep recreating jobs for yourself. So think about that too, like long term when you're doing your goal setting and writing out what your plans are, what your big vision is. 5 to 10 years, do you want to be standing there in like a huge manufacturing process working like crazy, or do you want to get to the place where you can talk to other people and inspire other people about building their own product-based business as well? Okay, so, and don't think I can go through every single piece of this. Once you are at that place where you're able to line up your co-packer or you have a drop shipping business, you have fulfillment set up, your website's ready to go, everything is there, then everybody always asks, well, now what? Like, I have this, how am I gonna get, how much do I charge? How much do I charge people who I'm gonna send my product to, and I want them to be sponsors and all these things? So I'll run through these a little bit. When it comes to pricing out your product, you always want to have 3.5 to 4 times multiple. So your cost of goods, somebody asked me this earlier and I said I would mention it. Your cost of goods does not include things like an employee. It does not include things like, well, if I have a warehouse. Your cost of goods is like the actual cost it took to produce that product. Everything else is a business expense. So when you talk to a manufacturer or a fulfillment center and they're like, hey, it costs $55 to produce your product out the door. 3.5 times that, that's your price point. That's the price point you want to have to cover profit. That's the price point you want to have to cover like any unexpected expenses, which will always come up. But yeah, so you want to focus on that, and if you haven't built out your product, I always tell people, like, how much is it going to cost? $50? 3.5 times? Can you really sell that for that much? Don't do it. Like, don't waste your time, come up with a new product or something, because that's not going to work. The other part of this, the getting traffic to your website unpaid. So, Dave and I were talking about this. Content is going to be your best friend. Content all the time, consistently, is going to build a sustainable business because the way SEO and Google and traffic sources work, if they feel like you're providing valuable content and people are coming to your website all the time, they will continue to rank you higher. So a lot of my traffic is organic. It's not, I use paid ads now. I did not the first 2 years, but it's because consistently every single day I was putting out a recipe or I was putting out something, all putting it back on the site. Pinterest started getting traffic, Google started picking it up, Amazon started picking it up, and all this traffic started showing up, but it's consistency. So nobody has a budget at the beginning, nobody has millions of dollars to spend on getting that at the very start, so you have to get at the place where you're willing to set up a consistent schedule of what are 1 to 5 articles I can write each week, and I know that sounds like a lot, but if you think about how many times you're asked the same questions over and over and over, just write that. Go to Google Keywords, go to Google AdWords tool. What are people searching in your industry and your niche? And just that whole list. Do a 30-second video, because the more you do that, it starts popping up in the most random places. Like, you don't, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, keep doing consistent content, and you'll end up getting so much traffic. Another way, everybody here, connecting with influencers. Hey, will you share my post? If this connects with you, if this resonates with you, will you tag me? Tell your friends and family. Is there anybody in your industry that would love to buy pancakes or love to buy my product? Using that is another huge source. Your hashtags is a huge source. Going out to live events, talking to people is a huge source. It doesn't really cost you much money to do that. But really, just getting a consistent calendar, like I was saying with Instagram, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single day. Nobody wants to do that because they're like, what can I do in the next 30 days to get the most traffic to my site? When you do it every single day though, over a period of time, a funny thing happens. If you miss a day, people start reaching out like, hey, what happened? I know my recipes come out at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Where's the rest of my recipes? You start to realize like, oh, people are paying attention. They do start following. They really are engaged in what I'm doing. Authentic selling, how to sell without doing sales. This seems to be a big piece because so many entrepreneurs, especially personal trainers, are like, I hate sales so much. Like, I feel so stupid and cheesy and like, I'm being the sleazy sales guy. The way you sell authentically is simply by continually telling your story over and over. Like, I can sit here and tell you this whole story, and then you guys all go buy my pancakes, and I didn't sell you at all. I just told you the story. So think of it in that sense. Like, anytime you're trying to be salesy, it's like comedy skits. When you're trying to be funny, it's not funny. Anytime you're trying to do sales, you're not going to do sales. Just talk about what you believe in. It's your product. You obviously believe in it enough. If you created it, do that. If your product is personal training, talk about your transformation. Talk about how much it transforms your life and other people's lives. And then people end up wanting to work with you. There's people here I've talked to, I'm like, I don't know what you do. Like, I'm so intrigued by all of this. So you sell by just being genuine. Don't pay attention to what anybody else is doing. And then the right customers who connect with your story and connect with what you're doing are going to end up being attracted to you. And there's a huge thing of like, well, how do you set yourself apart from competition? There is no competition when you're just creating things based off of your own life and your own story. So think of it that way. If you start to feel like you're struggling, your business isn't growing, you aren't really making a difference, ask yourself if you've kind of veered off path and you aren't really doing what you showed up to do in the first place. And you've gotten too caught up in like, well, they're doing that marketing, they're doing this marketing, they're buying this. Just stay focused on you. Okay, your business social media strategy we kind of talked about for the most part. Instagram, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Facebook, I know you can do Instagram and Facebook at the same time. You don't want to because Facebook actually looks down on when people do the same post, the same content at the same time because they see it as just repeated content information. So Instagram typically 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Facebook is more like 11 a.m. to like midnight. I don't know why. That's just how it is. The question that comes up a lot is, which social media platform do I focus on? YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, Snapchat. When you're first starting out, you kind of have to try all of them. I usually say to pick 3. Try 3, the ones that seem to hold your audience. Where does your audience hang out at? It's fitness. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Focus on that. Then, as your business continues to grow and you continue to make content, see where you're getting the most engagement, the most likes, the most comments, the most shares. Then, you focus on 2. You focus on 2, and that is it. I don't care who tells you you should be doing YouTube, you should be doing Snapchat. Don't. You find your 2, you stay there. That's where your audience is used to seeing you. Just keep showing up. It's like a coffee shop. People are used to seeing you at the same coffee shop. Don't try and go to every single one to network and meet people. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on that I want to touch on. With social media, there was a lot of questions before coming in here. Do you guys have more questions about that when it comes to product-based businesses and how to sell? Or does it make sense? Yes?
Do you have kind of like a lead gen like piece of content to try to capture leads, or do you strictly just stick to just product sales? Does that make sense?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, you know how like in a digital world, you would try to say like, here's 3 fat loss tips, grab that ebook.
Right.
Do you have something specific to like pancakes as, you know, to drive traffic to opt into something to eventually nurture a relationship in email sequence?
That's a good question. Yes, I do. They get a coupon code on their first order, and they also get a free recipe book. So if you're selling something like a supplement line or skincare line, yeah, give them a coupon code. Like, hey, I believe in this enough, and I want you to try it. Here's a coupon code. On top of that, here's 500 pancake recipes that you're going to love so much. Or here's how you use this product. Here's some demos. Like, absolutely, all the time. And I like to cycle through that. I don't post it all the time, and I actually don't run Facebook ads to that. But every now and then on social media, I'll make posts like, hey, don't forget, did you get your free coupon code, and did you get your recipe book, or whatever it might be. So yeah, that's super important too. Most of you who I've talked to, I think, have some opt-in. If not, you definitely need something like that to offer in exchange for their email. It's value for value, it's the exchange. Okay, so creating multiple sales channels. How to build an affiliate and ambassador program. This is really important, just like having an e-commerce based as opposed to retail based is really important, because you don't want to put all of your efforts into one sales channel, because if that falls through, then you're screwed. So, a great way to do it, an affiliate and ambassador, does everybody know the difference between the two?
No.
Okay, affiliates get paid, ambassadors do not. So affiliates, I always tell people, is if you have people who have, like all you guys are building online business models, you guys would be great affiliates, because you understand that you're wanting to create multiple revenue streams. You understand the process of emails and social media marketing. You know what affiliate URLs and links are. Ambassadors are your people who love the product, they don't care about a business, they just want to share it with people. So those are the main two differences. The awesome thing is though, with affiliate marketing, and I mean, there's so many ways you can do affiliate marketing. Shopify also has an app that you can just build into this. I need to get paid for Shopify. They have an app though, there's a lot of different ones. There's Affiliately, there's Refersion, and what it does is it creates a back-end system. So if you became an affiliate, you would then get abspancakes.com/Joe. That's your affiliate code. Every time somebody comes to your affiliate URL, buys a product from me, you get automatic passive income coming back to you. So it's another way you can build it too. Besides doing a drop shipping business, you can also be part of affiliate platforms as well. When you're looking for people to be in your affiliate program, you want to make sure it's other people like what you guys are doing. Don't go to somebody who has 500,000 followers, but they have no website lead or opt-ins or anything like that, because they're going to take your affiliate code and they just want paid sponsorships and paid ads. They're not going to do anything with it, and then you're paying to host their affiliate platform. So don't waste your time on that. Make sure the people who you're selecting, they actually understand what an online business model does. Ambassadors, and in the product space, everybody wants to be an ambassador. I have 3,000 followers and I'm an influencer from Miami, and you should send me product because my people love me. And then you send product and you never hear from them again. When you're choosing ambassadors, the way you weed out ones that just want free products and the ones who don't, give them a discount code, like 20%, like, hey, here's how we do this, we want you to try it first, make sure that you really like it, and then, if you really like it, we can talk about ambassadorship, because they're having to actually show up and do something, like, I'm giving you 30% off, like, if you can't even do 20, 30 bucks, I'm not sending you free product for a year. That's kind of how you weed them out. Immediately, you'll find out who actually is going to be a good ambassador for you and not. These are the ways, though, that you're going to continue to grow your business without paid advertisement. You don't have money for Facebook ads, for marketing campaigns. This is what you do. You reach out to people who already have your audience and get your product in front of them. Any questions about affiliate and ambassador marketing? Yes?
So you would just send them like a direct message, let them know like, hey, my name's Lynn, I'm from Boss Bunny, this is the product that I offer, here's a promo code, or?
Yes. Yes, but I usually like to start with some sort of conversation at first, instead of just like, hey, I'm Ashley with ABS Protein Pancakes, can I send you product and then can you post about it? I usually like to get to know people, just because nobody likes being like always sold or asked to post something. So I would send them a message, hey, I'm from Boss Bunny, I really like your feed, you seem like you have a great audience based around fitness, this is who I am, can I send you product? That's it. So it's always kind of the idea of you provide value before you ask for something in exchange. Like, you first give, build the relationship, and then, especially if it's a huge influencer. If it's somebody that's got a huge following, don't send product and then immediately ask them to post for you, because it's going to be super annoying for them. Provide value, make sure they love the value, and then, hey, we have this program, we have an ambassador program, you seem like you would be a really good fit, would you be interested? That's how you do that without, like, basically making people angry. Does that help? Okay, yes?
What would you consider a huge following?
I would say anybody that's in, like, the 300,000 and up, but it's a true following. They don't have 300,000 and up, but they get 40 likes and 2 comments. 300,000 up, and they're getting thousands of likes, 20 comments. They have 3,000 posts. Anytime somebody approaches you as an ambassador, first thing I always do is I go, how many posts do they have? If it's like less than 100, it's all paid. They're paying for followers. So I always look at that. Look at how many comments they're getting, because those comments are going to affect your product and whether or not you're able to sell to them. If they get 2 people, then nobody cares about what they're posting. But then also how many likes and what type of stuff they're posting. So if they have 5, I've had this happen. If they have 500,000 followers, they seem like they have a pretty good following, but then when they're making product posts, it's just breakfast, hashtags. You want to negotiate that with them as well. Like, you have to tag my product in your post. You're not just making a post with my product and not saying anything about it. Because that'll end up happening too, and then they don't end up doing anything to help your business. Anything else with the ambassadors and affiliates? No? Cool. All right, I heard something. Creating systems in your business and developing your team for growth. This is so you don't end up working all the time in your business. How do you do this from the very beginning when you don't have the money to hire 10 full-time employees to handle operations and sales and marketing and social media? Upwork is your best friend if you don't use them. Upwork has great contractors. Recruit your friends and recruit your family if you can and ask them to help. The main thing though is I'm sure you guys have heard of the 80-20 rule. Maybe? No? Okay. 80-20 rule. Well, there's two versions of this. So there's the focus on your 20%, outsource the other 80 because nobody else can do that. That also goes in what's bringing money into your business because 20% of that is bringing 80% of your income. So the idea is if you're doing affiliate marketing and ambassador marketing and social media posts and you're talking to wholesalers and retailers and Amazon and e-commerce, but e-commerce is bringing 80% of your business, forget about everything else. So there's two parts to that. When you're delegating tasks, 80-20, you focus on your 20, delegate the 80%. 80-20 in your business, what is the 20% that's bringing the most money in, and then forget about the rest of it. Tim Ferriss talks about this a lot. I don't know if you guys follow him. He talks a lot about just really like the domino effect. What is one thing, just one thing you can do in your business that is just going to create a domino effect to everything? Maybe it's showing up more, creating new products. Maybe it's hiring a salesperson. But on top of that, when it comes to sales, a lot of times, sales are huge, obviously, but like when you're trying to get out there, you can't be at every single gym, at every single store, and doing everything. So usually what is great is if you build your ambassador and affiliate program, you have them in different areas, ask them, hey, if I send you a product and I'm already doing this with you, would you mind being a part of this at the gym? Or would you mind doing this for this event? More than likely, if they're solid people, they have no problem doing it. I've had so many people like represent the brand that I didn't pay them. They just love the product and they're a good affiliate and they end up promoting it for me. So I mean, the whole point of all of this, the whole point in business is like, just get super creative on what can I do, not only to provide value, but in a way that doesn't cost me money, but still grows the brand. A lot of it is just building relationships, building connections, establishing yourself. In any business though, patience. I mean, God, everybody wants to make 6 figures in 90 days and I can help you take your product from nothing to being on Shark Tank. No, I can't do that. I want to, but I think the most important thing really to take away from all this is just, if you stick with what you're doing, you stay focused on what your vision and your business is, you will get there. Product-based businesses are totally different than online training and digital marketing. Because online training, you get a client, you engage with them, they sign up, boom, here's their workout program. It happens immediately. Product-based businesses take a very long time, but if you're in it for the long run, it's also very rewarding. You can be super successful. You get a lot of different opportunities that set you apart as opposed to what you may be doing as a personal trainer or in the online space, but you have to have the tenacity, you have to have the patience and the persistence to do that. And I think like, one thing I did want to make sure I talked about, I think there's this fear of everybody's scared of, okay, if I take this leap, if I start a product business, all this stuff is going on, there's all these different things that happen in this, what if it fails? What if it doesn't work out? What if I lose all my money? What if I just invested 50 grand in this and now all of a sudden like, all right, well, I guess I'm going back to being a personal trainer. And I was talking to someone this morning at breakfast about this. I was like, yeah, but think of all the times you failed in your life. You didn't die. You overcame it. Think of how many things that you claim as failures, like you ended up growing from and learning from. And like, I honestly think failure would not be that big of a deal if more people actually talked about failures. Social media kind of screws us because it's like all you see are everybody's highlight reels. Like, oh, picturesque, like looking perfect. It's like, yeah, but can you just post like a normal picture? Because now I kind of feel bad about myself. It's the same thing with business. Like everybody's always posting about their successes, but I mean, with this, like, this didn't happen overnight. This has been a lot of hard work consistently, and there's multiple times I thought like, oh, well, I might lose all my money and this might not work out, and Shark Tank might not like me, and I might have to go out there and pitch a product that I don't even know what I'm doing in, and then I feel like an idiot. And you will pitch stuff, and people will reject you, and you will struggle back and forth wondering like, am I gonna make it? Am I ever, like, I remember sitting on that side 4 years ago, and I can't remember who it was that talked, but like, it just seemed so, like, from where I was trying to start, like, it's like so far, like, how am I ever gonna get there? And I just wish more people would talk about, like, if you just stick with it, like, it seems so far out of reach, but if you just keep showing up every day, even if you have weeks where you do quit, and you do cry, and you do just throw it all away, get back up and try again, because eventually the people who make it in business that are more successful than others, they're not more talented, they don't have more knowledge, they don't have the resources and the money and the experience, they just kept on going. They didn't let that stop them. And I think like, people see media, they see all the different exposure platforms, and like it's so much fun and I love it, but I'm like, yeah, but I just wish like everybody knows like that's just like the 20%. There's the 80% behind the scenes that nobody else sees that you go through, that you're doing in your business right now, that people need to hear are still happening. So like people are like, oh, you're overnight success. Like, oh my God, no. You have no idea how many times I've cried and like struggled with like, am I gonna make it, guys? But I just want everybody to understand wherever you are in your business, whatever your long-term goal is, whatever your starting point is now to where you want to be, just don't quit. I know there's a lot of times that you want to, and a lot of times like you feel like it's just too much and you're overwhelmed. Take a day off. Ask yourself, like, really, what else am I going to be doing? What else? Am I going to get a job? Do I want to go get a job again? No, probably not. Isn't that your exit strategy? Just don't quit. Like, just keep going, because eventually the domino effect will happen. It will fall. You will have a big break. Somebody will want to put you on some sort of national television. Somebody will give you that big break. Just keep that belief. Like, I think that anybody here that's speaking, like, I think our biggest job is just to help you have that unshakable belief in yourself that you can do everything that you want to do, even if it seems like it might take years. Eventually, one day you wake up and look back and you're like, holy crap, I did it, this is amazing. Go ahead, what's your question?
What was your tipping point when you realized you made it?
I think the first time I got asked to speak, I was just like, what am I gonna talk about? I don't know. Yeah, the first time I realized I was on the other side, it was kind of like this weird moment of like, almost like nostalgic of just, this is so weird, because you get so focused if you just keep going and going and going and going and going, that you don't, like, you never lift your head up. You're just grinding it out and doing it. And then one day you do stop and you give your first speech to somebody and you're like, I'm kind of doing it. It's happening. Yeah, because it's like the pictures. Like, when you think you're not making progress, like, ask yourself where you were a year ago. You've made progress. Everybody's making progress. Yes.
Have you had anybody that you really respect or admire come to you and promote your product? Any kind of like people who follow you that's been like kind of a dream come true for you, who like to use your?
That's a good question. I have two sides to that. So Dana Lynn Bailey was a huge thing for me. I had no idea. I didn't reach out to her. She found my product. That was huge. Two country music artists, I'm a huge country music fan, reached out to me and they were like, I'm not on the post about it, I wish I could, but their assistant reached out and was like, hey, so-and-so really likes your product, we want to know if we can do something together. And I was like, oh my God, can I get backstage tickets, please? I know, I'll give you pancakes, you give me VIP passes. And then actually recently, yesterday, a childhood, like, I can tell you soon, not yet. A childhood, like, I don't know what you would call him, athlete-ish, celebrity athlete-ish, reached out, actually his agent reached out. He's been eating the pancakes for a year as part of his meal prep. I had no idea, well, because like I don't see every order that comes in, I have no idea. My brother, who handles all of our like ambassador affiliate stuff, got the email, and he freaks out. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm a morning person. He sends me his voice message, he's like, I don't know if you checked your emails yet, but you need to check this. And I was like, what? Yeah, so it has happened, super excited. But then on the other end too, I've also had a mentor, one of my very first business coaches. I didn't feel like the digital marketing thing was my thing. Info products just didn't, that wasn't my dream. I wanted people actually holding the product that I had created. And I went to him and I had told him, I was like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this. And I had already started getting traction, already started getting sales, and I went to him looking for help with manufacturing. How do I find a manufacturer? I have so many orders, I need to do this. And he was totally against it. He was like, this is a terrible idea. You're never gonna make it. Nobody wants pancakes. Like, nobody's gonna buy your product. I fired him after that. And then now, like, every now and then it comes up, I'm like, there's this one guy, man. So yeah, so I have both. I have people that were supposed to be there to support who haven't. And then people who just surprise you sometimes and you're like, this is amazing. Because you don't ever dream of that. I mean, you have huge dreams that your business is gonna be successful. And then somebody actually buys it that you never expected, and you're like, oh my God, is this for real? You feel like a little kid most of the time. You're like, I thought I was playing or something. You? Yes.
So why did you decide to go with Shark Tank and almost like a VC, right? Venture capitalist who's investing and taking part of equity of your company rather than doing it all on your own. What made you decide to do that?
So I went on Shark Tank because right after I had gotten, I guess this was like 3 months after I got my manufacturing and fulfillment, I was still doing the daily things of growing the business and just grinding it out. And then one day I had 3 or 4 people who asked what I did, and I told them I did protein pancakes, and they're like, oh, you should go on Shark Tank. I'm a firm believer in synchronicities. And so that happened, and I just applied. Honest to God, the questions in this, I didn't even know the answers to. What's your customer acquisition cost? What's your cost of goods sold? What is your manufacturing? Like all the other, I'm like, they're never gonna pick me. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I can't even feel I have these questions because I don't, like what's your 1 to 3 year projection and what's your gross sales for the first year? I didn't have that, I was like 4 months in. So I applied not expecting anything to come of it, but it was one of those things where like I applied, let it go, and then just right back to what I was doing. And then I was actually at another fitness conference in San Diego 6 months later, and they called me and they're like, hey, sorry for the delay. We really like your product and we want to go through the, it's a long process. It's a 1.5 year long process. Yeah, it's very long. And when I went to it, honestly, I was just a huge fan of Shark Tank, and I thought it would be so cool. Of like, I don't know what I'm doing in business, but I really wanted to be on Shark Tank. Like, this would be amazing to be like, I watched this show for years. And then the more I went through the process, I actually got like, almost like a fast track of business knowledge really fast, because they start asking for things that you have no idea what they're talking about. So I went through that, and going through that process is, there's only so much I can say about this. It's not always that setup. You don't necessarily always have it like a venture capitalist. It's not always giving away a percentage of your company. A lot of people go on Shark Tank solely for the exposure, because it's the business after that that actually is what helps grow things. It's not, I mean, it's amazing. It's fun, don't get me wrong. Like, it's amazing. The partnership is amazing. It's been very rewarding, and I'm so grateful for it. It's the business on the back end of people reaching out who have now, I mean, you get in front of 10 million viewers. Like, it's free advertisement, so then people following up with you of like, hey, I saw your product, I have this gym, I have this distribution company, I want to do this, I want to do that. So that was more of my reason of going on it. One, I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. I was scared out of my mind. So I was like, they're going to ask me stuff, I don't look like an idiot. But I wanted to prove to myself, like, no, this is something I started less than a year ago. I believed in it, I took a risk, and like, this is my time to either totally own it or I'm going to bomb. But either way, I'm going to do it. And then, after that, I don't know, like it just felt like I got like another shove, like another push. Thank you, universe. Another push of like, all right, it's time to like step up again. And like, I feel like the more you open yourself up to that, I'm a believer of any opportunity that comes your way, be open to it. Stay very focused on your vision, but be open to the path that gets you there. So like my big vision was I wanted a brand that was globally recognized, that was helping people all over the world, and one day I always promised myself that one day if I ever got that, I would then use that knowledge and experience to teach other people the tools that I never got taught. That was it, that's all I had. Daniel and Bailey, Shark Tank, Forbes, HSN, those are all just parts of the path that got me here. So yeah. Yeah. Yes.
What has been your experience utilizing Amazon?
Amazon is like starting a product-based business all over, but 30% of my revenue comes from Amazon. Yeah, if you do Amazon FBA, because you get more rankings, you get better rankings with FBA. There's a really good company though that will handle all that for you, because doing Amazon, it's like building a whole other website, but companies that actually know the ins and outs of Amazon, they can do like your branding, they can do keywords, your buy button, which is so stupid. You have to get to a certain point before you're even allowed to have that button on Amazon. You're like, it's my product, like why can't I just put the button on there? Amazon is huge though. I always see it too. I mean, it's another, just like creating the revenue channels, it's another sales channel. Why people believe like you're more legit if you're on Amazon, I don't know. But it creates credibility. Like even at the booth the other day, people were like, "Are you on Amazon?" Like, yeah, I'm on Amazon. I'm on Amazon, guys. So yeah, so I think Amazon is great. You can also do, I don't think they started it yet. There's a way that they were trying to incorporate. They did have Line for a while. I was really excited about it, and then they got in trouble. You can incorporate your website from FBA into Shopify so that all of it is just one mainstream process. It's really simple. But yeah, if you're on Amazon, like, you'll bring in a ton of money, because it also helps with your Google SEO, Amazon, ABS Pancakes, Zulily, like, it's just getting more pings basically on Google. Yeah. Yes?
So what's next? So you have your apps, pancakes, you have the podcast, then you have your business where you're coaching people to do what you've done. What other things do you have in the works, or what are some other?
Right now, I'm pretty happy. The podcast is a ton of fun. The podcast is just conversations and sharing. I mean, it's more of other people's stories on the podcast than it is mine, and that's the great thing. Like, you're just having conversations of how people got to a certain point in their lives and how it's helping other people. By the way, it makes me so happy that you guys listen to the podcast, because podcasts are one of those things, like, you don't know until you meet somebody and they're like, oh, I love the podcast. And so Michael does the back end of the podcast too, and I was like, people love how real the podcast is. I don't know. So I love the podcast. I love this. The mastermind, I think I talked to you about. Yeah, so I do have a mastermind. It's the Fitness Business and Wine Mastermind, helping people who want to create product-based businesses really build out all of this successfully. That is like my passion project. I love it so much because it's like, finally I wish people gave actual strategic steps, and now I'm able to do that to help people instead of spending 6 months trying to find manufacturers and fulfillment and things like that. So that's my passion project. And then the pancakes, honestly, just continuing to grow sales. That's the most fun for me. So yeah. Any other questions? Anything else I can help with? My main thing, y'all, I did not sleep last night because I was so, I just want to make sure, they have steps they can actually go home and do something with. I don't want you to have vague information. I want you to feel like you've got tons of information that you can actually implement into your business. Did you get that? Yes. Yes.
So if you have like a Shopify, you're able to link it to Amazon, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is product listing. Can I do the same thing, like copy and paste it on, or should I?
Amazon, you're going to have to completely build out from scratch, because Amazon has ASINs. It's the product, basically, classifications that they give for Amazon. So like when you ship to them, they have ways they scan it, so it goes in Amazon's inventory as opposed to going in your inventory. So you'll have to create product listings, ASINs, SKUs, inventory alerts, branding and all of that. Once that's set up though, and you get approved, then you can connect it. And you can do FBA, fulfillment by Amazon. Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Did you have to reformulate your recipe after you sent it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really important thing. When you do your product specs or formulation, make sure that's part of your non-disclosure, because what happens is when you switch manufacturers, some of them really suck, and they won't give you the information of who the suppliers are that they used. Yeah, so they end up keeping that information, and then you end up having to reformulate because vanilla from California doesn't taste like vanilla from Iowa, and they're in Oklahoma, and you got 15 different flavors of vanilla that you're trying to match up. So yeah, I think I've reformulated 3 times and trying to get nutrition right and everything. So yeah, make sure when you do agreements and contracts, that NDA, you own your formula, you own all the supplier information, they have to disclose that to you. Otherwise, if you switch over, they're like, oh, well, good luck, I'm not telling you where I got your materials from.
And then one other question for, did you have a contingency budget, and did you put that part of your costs
With what?
with, making your product? Like if there was a contingency for like, oh, well, you know, because you may or may not know the supplier, or, I don't know, they may have to go over the amounts of like flour that you use or something.
Mm-hmm. They do that sometimes, like if I say I order 500 bags, sometimes it's like 520
Right.
because they end up making more. You can put that in there. They might not really like that because they can't give you like exactly 500. Yeah, the only real kind of clause that I have in my contract is every day past deadline that you are late, I get 1% off. That's it. Yeah, because otherwise, like then they feel like you're trying to like keep them on like some super ridiculous restrictions that they can't meet. Yeah. Yes.
I'm curious, when you decided to switch over to to a manufacturer, some of the things that you might have been thinking about in terms of like quantities, if you had a good idea of like what were, you know, maybe flavors that were popular, or if you had different flavors at the time, or how you kind of estimated what you were going to need to buy so you weren't overbuying and didn't have a ton of extra inventory, if that was a concern.
Yeah, so the first time I did manufacturing with inventory, I just met their minimums. It was 500 of each SKU. So I have 3 SKUs, I do 500 of each flavor, 1,500 units. The good thing is if your product has a long shelf life, I mean, you can sell out 500 units pretty consistently if you do, like if you stay focused and you do it right. Stuff like Shark Tank, like when it came to that exposure and I had to order inventory to plan for that, I was back ordered for a month and a half because I tried. You try your best, and I mean, I think we ordered, I don't know, like 15,000 or something like that, sold out, and it's like, okay, well, I tried. Like, sometimes you can't. I always do it based on my cash flow. How much cash can I really afford to be able to do inventory? But typically, if you look at your business model and you look at 3 to 6 months, how much sales you're doing, and it's consistent, that's how I do my inventory. Of like, all right, if I'm ordering every 4 to 6 weeks and it's however many units, just keep doing that. The other thing with manufacturing too, especially in supplement and food nutrition, they, just like other things, they do auto ship. They'll do auto reorder, which is a good thing, and sometimes if you do that, they'll give you a price break. Of like, hey, if I end up auto shipping with you so that I don't have to call you every 4 to 6 weeks, will you end up cutting my costs? And usually they will because it's guaranteed money for them. So that's what I did. And then you can also have it too, if you think you're gonna need a large amount of inventory, sometimes they'll produce it and hold half of it for you, and you can buy half and keep it, and they'll just keep it there instead of you having to purchase it all up front. Yeah. Does that help? Awesome. I think we are out of time. Yeah.